Sue heads up the Spanish translation thing. She went to Palma and Mallorca 32 years ago to dance for a week, and 32 years later, she's still living there. And thank God, because she worked bloody hard. As with all the translation things, Sue's just going to talk about some of the work that the translation team do, so that people understand what goes on behind the scenes and what we are trying to do, and how many dedicated people put an awful lot of time into this for free. We do this if we want to do it. Anybody who tells you, what would you do in the future, and do what you want to do. And people do things for nothing. We do all this for nothing, So don't let anybody tell you, you need to be paid to do things. We do this, we want to do it, and we want to take this world forward to make it better for all of us and your children. So, super.
So how do we work? Well, we work collaboratively in teams. We work transparently. All the projects that we are translating are up online. Anybody can look them up. They can follow the progress. Sometimes there's moments in the process where they can join in and help translate as well. We have a unified method of work, which we have developed collaboratively over the months as the team has been growing. And we hold regular meetings online in TeamSpeak to be able to keep up to date with the latest information, the new tools that we might be brought in, the updating of tools to a new level. And all this is aimed towards achieving the best possible translations that we can. Because the accuracy in the translations is equal to the credibility and the survival of the movement. If we give out poorly translated or badly presented work, this only serves to spread confusion and gives a bad image, quite frankly. So the accuracy in the translations is what we're always striving for, the best possible translations that we can. As time has progressed, many of the benefits of working collaboratively have become very evident and they're worthy of note. And the best example that I can give would logically be when we did the translation of Zeitgeist Moving Forward. It was possibly the largest global translation effort ever done online. It came shortly after receiving a tsunami of emails in response to a young gentleman that has something to do with the movement, Peter somebody or other. He sends out an email to all the 500,000 members of the movement asking for help with the translations, and we were absolutely inundated with emails. In about a fortnight's time, this was 2 weeks ago, we received over 2,000 emails from people offering to help with the translations. And just as that tsunami was finishing, in came the translation for Zeitgeist Moving Forward. We were originally expecting some 30 Google Docs to work with, but these 30 Google Docs exponentially into 78 Google Docs. But unfazed, the 501 members of the 30 language teams that accepted the challenge of translating the film, they rolled their sleeves up and, leaving all other tasks aside, typing their fingers to the bone, and totally spaced on coffee, we managed to beat the deadline of 3 weeks. We managed to get the translation, the subtitles prepared so that people could get them onto the videos, ready for the screenings. We had to work in a different manner to the way we were used to, because we had to protect the film from early release. But we even had time to prepare a collaborative Google Doc, similar to the one I showed before, with the transcription errors that we've seen, so that when the proofreaders came in afterwards for the transcription, final transcription, proofreading, it was already sorted out for them. So we worked collaboratively even on that level as well. The team structure, we have various teams, obviously, within the global linguistics team. First of all, we have the transcribers for the English language. As I say English language because most of the material comes to us in English. And these are for the videos, for the audio, such as the blog talks, for the PDFs and the text and the websites. We have the synchronization of the timestamps on the videos. We call them the time shifters. We have the proofreaders for the transcriptions. Then we have the translators, which currently we support some 80 languages. All sorts. You wouldn't believe it. We've even got Mongolian, we've got various Indian dialects, we have languages from Africa. Really, really getting big now. And then the final stage, the final team is the proofreaders for the translations. All of these working together, obviously, towards the best possible translations we can get. So let's just briefly pass through what these different stages are. The transcription. The transcribing is the putting down in text form of what we hear, for example, from the original version of the video. Okay? And there's a very common misconception here, which I'd like to clear up now, and I think it's very, very important that people understand this. A lot of people that only speak English think that they can't help us with the translation. Oh, I don't speak another language, so I'm not really good at that. But in actual fact, your help is vital to the team. Because we need you to make the transcriptions, the original English subtitles, whatever. We need the English speakers to do that. If we don't have those accurate transcriptions, the jobs of the translators then become very much more complicated. They have to listen to them for themselves. It's very less time efficient if they have to do it themselves. So the transcribers are very, very, very important. If there's anybody out there that doesn't speak anything else but English and is wanting to get involved some way with the movement, believe me, you will be welcome with open arms on the transcription team. Just get in touch with me afterwards and I'll get you in touch with the transcription team. Basically, we can say that without the transcriptions, the translations team is held back. And without the translations, the whole world is held back. And if that message didn't get through, a word from our sponsors. User-friendly the tools are that we use. This is .sub, some of you have probably heard of .sub, and it's a heck of a lot higher up than I thought it was going to be. I was going to point with my finger, but anyway. You can see on the left-hand side you have the video with the subtitles underneath. On the right-hand side, the rectangle there, it actually says add a transcription line, okay? That's where the text goes in that you hear. You put in the text, you adjust the timestamps. You can see the timestamps here. Just the timestamps, they can even go to milliseconds for greater accuracy, so that they're spot on. And hit enter, it's automatically saved and it passes you on to the next time slot, and you got it's very addictive, very addictive. I've burned many a lunch thinking just one more box. And once the transcribers have done with this stage, it then passes on to the time shifters, who will make sure that the synchronization is as perfect as possible, with the voice and the subtitle being in at the same moment. And then, as some languages need slightly longer to be translated, maybe more characters, more words, if it's at all possible, the English subtitle will be left on the screen milliseconds on or whatever, when it's possible, so that the translation also has time to be read. Because it's no good having marvellously done translations if they pass by so fast that we haven't got time to read it, that's all the message. Once the time shifters has done their magic, the transcription is then open to the proofreaders of the transcriptions, and this is quite important that it's native English speakers who do this, so that they don't just check the grammar and the spelling, but they make sure that all words have been correctly heard, because if not, this can happen.
Das hier ist ein wichtiges Gedächtnismesser. Das ist das Überlebensradar.
Thinking about
the Linguistic team will have its own website dedicated purely and simply for linguistic team topics. It's in the embryonic stage at the moment, and the idea is that eventually we will have a linguistic team theatre where all the videos that we've translated will be a sort of a one-stop shopping for the videos. Any activist or anybody at all that wants to see a good translation, the best possible translation, will be able to come to this page and find it all there, in all the formats that they want to download or to share a link or whatever. And I'm using TED as an example because we're going to be using the same system, dashboard, I'll explain a bit in the next slide, for the Linguistic Team website. And there will also be a Linguistic Team theatre for the big one, Linguistic Team library for the PDFs and books and so on. And what happened with .sub was we caused so much traffic on .sub with the Zeitgeist material and the integrated material that it called the attention of the owners logically, and they began to watch the videos. They liked them, they were in agreement with them, and they wanted to help us. So they gave us a gift that would normally be sold to companies like TED. And this enables us to do marvellous things on the backside of the, behind the curtains of the translation team. It will enable us to have that wonderful website theatre, but also it will give us such fun toys as interactive transcripts. Now, what does that mean? You can see here we've got a Slovakian translation. This is the matter. And it's actually quite a nice video on linguistics in babies. You can see the subtitle underneath the video, and on the right-hand side, you've got the transcription, the translation, and there's a zone that's in darker grey. What happens here is that when the mouse is moved over that interactive transcript, coinciding will be very, very useful for us in the future. And this is what we're working towards. Here we have another one of the translation assist tools that we use. It's with Google. Those of you that have been around a while will have heard of Google. And it's been updated quite recently. And this is what we use for the text, for the websites and so on. The videos are done in .sub, and Google is where we do the text. Again, it's very user-friendly. It introduces the text into the box. Underneath the original transcription, hit enter, it's saved automatically and passes you on to the next paragraph. All these tools make it very easy to be collaborative because as things are automatically saved, you just close down, go away, and somebody else can come in and pick up where you left off translating. So it really is very, very simple to work this way. Google currently supports the 80 languages that we have in the linguistic team, the international linguistic team. And one of the wonderful things about the linguistic team, working in international, obviously, is that it has such a global reach that we're learning a great amount about communication across these artificial barriers that have been created. And the chapter projects, which is, you can see there in the packet, the chapter projects, is a great example of promoting the communication between the chapters through the linguistics team. Any of the chapters that create some interesting information and wishes to share it with the rest of the world, they can bring it into Google in their original language. We will translate it into English and then into all the other languages to share with all the other chapters. And the example that we have here is the bullet points by Simon. But it's actually done into Macedonian there. So you can see we really do have a lot of different languages. So, one thing that is becoming very, very clear, patently clear with the linguistics team is that it doesn't just have to be the linguistics team that works on an international level. In fact, if all the teams were international, it would help the Zeitgeist Movement very much faster. Collaborating, we avoid duplication of the work and we achieve a much higher standard as well. And it all comes down really to the fact that learning and sharing the experiences that we have, we will cross these barriers, we will begin to really feel ourselves as a truly global movement. So basically, what we could say is that we're building bridges. We're building bridges better and stronger every day between the chapters and to the world. And while some of the first bridges were very basic, and some people didn't really get quite the idea of how to use a bridge, we're moving towards a much more streamlined future, where we can see and experiment for ourselves that no matter where we are in the world, there's much more similarities between us than differences. And as developers, more and more developers understand the need to work internationally and globally and come and help the linguistic team create the tools that we need to be able to get better and better with the translations, then we will continue to beat at the heart of the Zeitgeist Movement and carry on towards the streamlined future that we're all looking forward to. And now finally, just one last little word that I always say to the new members into the Spanish language team. We aren't translating a soap opera here. We're translating how to change the world. And that is something that is worth all the care, all the dedication, all the time, and all the love that we can give.